three Habonim principles. How did it fit then? The awareness that the people from here had fled or been expelled or whatever had happened with them, and that you were building a new life and a new settlement on the ruins of their old one.
Well, coming back to Tsora every now and again for visits, and seeing the tremendous building that's going on around, which was unthought of even. We didn't even dream that the area would look like this. In those days, we just knew that there was once an Arab village in this area, that this was the Mukhtar's house, that they had left or fled or whatever. How exactly what, we didn't really know. There wasn't very much opportunity to go to sort of find out. But the story sort of was that it's okay, the thing to do now is to build and create, which has been done. But nevertheless, as history rolled on, one began to wonder about the people who had been in this place before the Arab community that left here. And one went even further back. Who was here even before that? Because up on the hills at the top over there, there are ruins of Roman structures right on top of the mountain over there. So this whole process of who takes over and who owns what can be theoretical, but there's also a very practical aspect to it, and that is the conflict between us and our cousins, and that isn't working itself out so well, particularly in the light of our hopes and expectations that we could arrange. There could be some peaceful arrangement and peaceful coexistence between all peoples in this area, particularly Palestinians and Israelis or Jews or Jewish Israelis. And this hasn't happened. We've always had an upset feeling about it, even seeing that the Arab village, no longer, even there's no signs of it at all. And the Mukhtar's house has been converted, or rather has now become a lookout post. At one time it was a firefighting forest fire station, and now it's just a tourist, or not necessarily tourist, but a viewpoint, beautiful viewpoint to look out over the valley. But right now, in the beginning of 1905, there are signs that maybe with give and take on both sides, there was an arrangement, maybe that hoped for dream that peoples could live together. I once mentioned that it was so strange how we left South Africa because we just two things. We didn't like the difference, the discrimination that was going on there at this one angle. Of course, we had the positive pull of coming to create a new state for the Jewish people. But after all that period of time, we find that part of the discrimination has continued in our country, and it's not a happy thing for us at all. Maybe it's too quick. Maybe we're too hasty in our judgment. Maybe changes in social historical processes take more than one generation, and we've got a bit of a cheek, maybe a bit of a chutzpah to think that in our generation this has to be solved.
When you say discrimination, are you talking about between Israelis and Arabs or Palestinians, or are you talking about amongst Israelis themselves, class differences, rich and poor?
Well, they're both that, but right now I'm referring to the Palestinian, the discrimination of Jewish Israelis and Palestinian Israelis in Israel. In Israel, what Israel calls itself Israel.
Muslim Israelis and Jewish Israelis, or
well, even Christian Israeli, Christian Arabs. I mean, the discrimination with the Arab population. It's a hard thing to have to live with, but it's maybe absolutely natural, because within Israel there's a discrimination which is certainly conducted by the forces that be, because it could be different. But there is a process whereby some people within the Jewish Israeli population are discriminated against, both racially, to a much lesser extent, but certainly economically. There's the movement.